Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the first Mayor's Business Roundtable for the Village of Antioch. I thought we would start off today. I wanted to introduce myself. I'm the new guy here. Last Friday was my 4-month anniversary with the Village of Antioch. I'm excited to be here. My name is Jim Moran. I'm the communication specialist with the village. My position came about last summer. The village adopted a marketing plan. Part of the marketing plan called for somebody to be in a communications and marketing role with the village. So they brought me aboard, and I'm really excited to be here. I love Antioch. I'm a lifelong Lake County guy. I've been coming to Antioch. I grew up in Libertyville, but I've been coming to Antioch my entire life, and I'm thrilled to be here. Just real quick about my background. And I want to be a resource for the business community here in our village. So if there's anything I could ever do to assist you, obviously we have our economic development director, Michael, here at the village, but as far as any marketing or outreach that I could be of assistance with, I want to be helpful. Some of my past experience, I was a former village trustee in the village of Libertyville. I was also on the Main Street Libertyville Board of Directors for a number of years. Before that, I was a membership chairman of the group. So I have quite a bit of experience in Libertyville with their downtown and working with small businesses. I'm a former small business owner myself. I have a number of years, my small business dealt with small business marketing. And then I also did radio sales for a number of local stations, Alpha Media, and then also in the city, I worked for CBS Radio and Salem Radio. Prior to that, my career started off as a news and traffic reporter. My very first job was at Will Rock up in Kenosha. I was a program director at WKRS in Waukegan for a couple of years and then moved down to the city. I was a news reporter for WLS Radio for a number of years. I was a traffic reporter for WBBM. So I kind of, as you get to know me, sometimes late in the day, my ADD kicks in, and my resume is reflective of that also. So one thing that's cool is my background all comes together perfectly for this role. So I'm excited to be a resource for the Village of Antioch. And again, my door's always open, and I'm excited to get to know our business community. So without further ado, I would like to turn things over to the mayor. Again, today's webinar, it's a chance to update our business community on what we've got going on in the village, what we've been doing, things we have planned, and then it's a chance for your feedback. Critically, the feedback of the business community is very important. So it's a chance for you to ask questions, again, provide feedback. And again, if you have questions at about 12:45 or so, we'll for questions and answers. And by chance, if you can't stick around that long, feel free to email me. Today's presentation is being recorded. So if you email me at jmoran@antioch.il.gov, I'll make sure your question's asked and I'll respond to you personally as well. So without further ado, Mayor Gardner.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Yeah, I also want to make sure introduce Michael Garrigan. He's on this call, so I'll be deferring to him at times for maybe some answers or feedback. And then I know in the crowd we also have Trustee Mary Dominic, who is the liaison for community and business development and is very heavily involved in the Antioch business community, and most of you know her as well. So one other thing that I want to, if you as I'm going through these topics, if there's something that comes to mind you don't want to forget, I don't know, Jim Moran, is the chat feature on?
With the webinar, we don't have we don't have a chat feature, but we do have the ability for folks to raise their hand.
Okay, yeah. So raise your hand if you have questions, and we'll come around to you. So, as mayor, one of the things that I wanted to focus on is the Antioch is kind of at this critical point with major projects coming forward, with the business development, with the downtown business district. I don't want to forget about the industrial areas or the 173 corridor, because those are also very top of mind for us all the time. Michael Garrigan is always talking to developers and different projects. But today, probably a lot of this will talk about what the projects are for the downtown business district, major projects, capital improvement projects we have coming, as well as events. And then get your feedback on things you like, don't like, ideas. Like I said, one thing about the people here at Village Hall is I hope we're a sponge to take in your requests as well. And I think you've noticed in the last 6 months or however long Jim Moran's been here, he's been very instrumental in getting Antioch in the news for different events and business friendly events. So one of those events that we started first, and we did hire a marketing group that came in with our marketing plan last year, was approved by the village board, and out of that came what we did was Uncover Antioch, which many of the business owners either participated in or hopefully noticed some traffic for the Uncover Antioch event. We had over 300 people that participated in that regularly. And then the big thing was it got Antioch on the news, not only in the local media, in the Daily Herald, but also on the regional Fox 32 News, WBBM Radio, Chicago Tribune, we're all picking up on this story. So, in a year where we all, we're hearing about the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff and some bad press, it was some good press for Antioch to show, hey, we're more than that, and we have a downtown and a business district that you should check out. One of the other things that Jim has kicked around and we've talked about at the village is working on a small business Saturday program. So that we could promote something with the Visit Lake County on Antioch in the digital and print marketing, and do some advertising on the radio. But we want to make sure that the business district in the downtown is on board for doing something like that, where we have specials or evening hours on a Saturday once a month, where we are promoting people to come into Antioch and shop and go to the restaurants. So that's something we're going to be hopefully rolling out with the participation and support of the downtown business group. We did have our wine walks are always successful. We have 450 tickets available for that. And again, we sold out 450 tickets for people to be able to walk, in the middle of January downtown in the cold. So that's, it says a lot about the people that want to come to this. We do notice that every time we have one of these events, we're getting more and more people from outside of Antioch who are coming in and shopping in the stores, and the business owners are saying, I think the business owners all appreciate that, even if they're not participating as a location. I think that it's a good driver of business to the downtown. So continuing those events and maybe some modifications, some similar events like that can be something in the future. My goal as the mayor is to make sure that ideally there's something going on downtown every calendar weekend of the year, so that there's a reason for people to want to come down and continue to make it a destination. Upcoming this summer and this year, we have a couple events. Obviously, we always have our summer concert series on Thursday evenings. At some point in this seminar, we'll talk about business hours and hopefully discuss, consistent business hours. But every Thursday, beginning in June through August, we have our Thursday night concert series. And this year, we're going to have a special event. I know Jim Moran is working hard on this event for it's Will Rock Radio's 30th anniversary. We're trying to get a bigger named band that, I guess locally or nationally known, to have a bigger event on, I don't know the date. I'll actually defer to Jim Moran to maybe fill in a little information on this, but I want all the business owners to know that this is an event that's coming up, and we're expecting a very large crowd for this. So I'll defer to Jim for this topic.
So we're aiming for this to be the kickoff. It's the kickoff of the Will Rock Summer Concert Series for their 30th anniversary, like the mayor mentioned. We're looking to have this be the kickoff of our Thursday night concert series too. So if the dates and everything work together perfectly, the concert will be Thursday, June 9th, that evening. We are allowing for maybe a day or two flexibility on either side, but it's looking like it's coming together on that Thursday, June 9th. We're expecting a couple thousand people downtown. It'll be really exciting. So,
okay. So keep your businesses open that night, because we're
it's a great night to be. Keep your business open because we'll be bringing the people downtown.
All right, thank you. So also, the farmers market and street market, that was something that kind of went away, and then last year with the Parks Department, I asked them to move that off of Skidmore onto Toff Street. Eventually, we anticipate the farmers market and the street market will be something that takes place on the Pittman property when that's developed. Again, we are talking, we have it on Sundays from June to the end of September. And then the last Sunday of the month will feature a street market. This is where, again, business community feedback is important to me and us, because I want to make sure that whatever we do, date and time for these farmers markets as we build it, gives the business district the biggest bang for their buck as well. So, if we're bringing them in on Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon, is that the optimal time to bring traffic to your stores and restaurants and things of that nature? So we're trying to make that bigger and better this year. I hope that at some point the farmers market is a destination thing for people all around to come to the Antioch Farmers Market. So with that being said, Jim Moran is also setting up a program for some sponsorship opportunities, and he's identified for me 5 of those right now. But the farmers market could be a sponsorship opportunity. The Will Rock show, the Thursday night concerts, Antioch wine walks. There's 2 left for this year. I think the next one's in May, if I'm correct. And then the Santa at the Sawmill. So those are things, with the business community that as we make these events bigger and better, there may be some cross promotional advertising opportunities with the village for those events. All right, I will move on to our big projects that are coming up. Obviously, everybody wants to know the biggest one is obviously, and I still call it the Pittman property. I know it's a bad word, but that's the only way I can describe it. But that is moving along full steam ahead. It is in the design phase. So recently we had the original design that was shown at the street market. And we hope that this property becomes something that is used all 4 seasons for different events, is a central focus for the downtown, not only for people to gather, but for future development as well. And so recently we signed a contract with the Lakota Group to get to the more detailed design phase, where they're going to be looking at materials and actually building out the project. We know that this is going to be an expensive project. It could cost as much as $10 million based on last estimates. I think I've told people before that we have already secured about $5 million in different funding sources from grants. And we're doing our budget right now. Ideally, you'll see some work on that property starting this year, and then obviously a phased approach, but I'd like to see this nearing completion in no later than 2024, but moving this project along in phases, that there's significant improvements and usable parts of this park by next year. If you haven't seen the drawing or the design, I think it's probably still on our village website. I could have Jim Moran post that, but that is going to be a big project. Another big project is we are in the process of contracting for the purchase of a new village hall, which would, no secret at this point, which would move us in the area near the band shell. Obviously, there would have to be some improvements done or modifications done to the existing building there. But that does a couple things. It ties in the village hall property to the band shell property, to the Bill Brooks property, and then on to the Pittman property when that's developed. The property comes with a 5-acre lot, so it really takes up that whole area and kind of gives us a complex. And also importantly to me, it frees up this very visible and important corner on Main Street for future development for retail or mixed use, if it's retail or and condominiums. So the Village Hall, which is essentially 3 buildings tied together over time, will be something that you'll hopefully see redeveloped into more retail and possibly some mixed use. So those are some big projects that we have coming up in the next year. And then also the Grimm Road project, which has been closed down for a couple of years, is now in the design and architectural phase, also out for grant funding sources. So they're working out some legal details for easements to reroute the road, but it'll be a turn between the Cunis Ford dealership and the Bodycraft location is where the actual road would come in with a turn lane. And I think a light, Michael, right? If I'm not mistaken. Okay. And
once it warms.
Yeah. So I can't do anything to stop the trains, but at least I'll give a little relief if people can get around and have alternate routes around the 173 backups. Let's see, other items that the business owners should know. So when we came in, again, I'm obviously always want to be business friendly, but there also are some things from the governance side of it that have been discussed and debated around Village Hall. One of those being business licenses, not going to be an expensive proposition. It is not meant to be a revenue source for the village, but it allows us to track what businesses we do have in the village, to be able to promote them, to be able to work with the business owners. And so there's a draft ordinance right now that Michael and the village attorneys are working on. I don't know when that will be presented, but I will make sure I add that in my Friday updates so that when that is presented, the business owners are aware that it's coming up for discussion at the committee of the whole meeting, because obviously your feedback is the most important on that. We did, again, I'm a business owner. I do have an office on Main Street as well. And one of the things that we discussed is making sure we have a vibrant shopping district, a vibrant downtown. Obviously, that's a mixture of retail, service businesses, a wide variety. But the village did recently put a cap on the limit of service businesses that can be available on Main Street at 28%, which is consistent with the historical amount of service businesses on Main Street. We did not, the fear would be that if it becomes 75% service businesses, then our retail business is gone, which is obviously important to the vibrancy of not only the downtown district, but also the tax base for the village to be able to, operate and collect sales taxes. I just want to make sure no current businesses would ever be kicked out. Everybody that's on Main Street in their current use is grandfathered in. And so we're not in the business of, hurting people's current locations and businesses, but we just want to make sure that we have a vibrant Main Street going forward. One thing that I really, really want the business owners to think about, and this will probably come up in our question and answer, is one of the things I hear many times from residents is, well, I go shop downtown more, I do more, but there aren't consistent business hours. Most people at this point don't work in Antioch. So a lot of those people that commute to, let's say, for example, Abbott Baxter and come back in the evening, they're wondering if the business district downtown would be interested in coming up with some type of consistent hours or, a day or two where there's more evening hours. So we can discuss that. And again, we did talk about that second Saturday. I guess we're here to gauge your interest as a business community, if that's something you would be open to. One of the things I'd like to promote this April is Restaurant Week. So if, Visit Lake County also has a restaurant week that they promote. If you're a restaurant owner, I would like to have you contact the village and see how we could work with you to make sure you're incorporated in Restaurant Week. We've talked about some incentive program, like I think, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, it's only like $200 to join the organization, which we talked about, maybe we can work with the business owner of the restaurant and help pay for your $200 fee if you give us some gift cards that we could use at cross promotions, but we haven't finalized that yet.
Quick, Mayor, I think it's $300, but it's in the grand scheme of things, it's a great value. And this is actually a real good chance to point out, I see just about the whole staff at Visit Lake County is joining us on our Zoom call today. So thank you guys for joining us. Restaurant Week, for $300, a restaurant could join. Visit Lake County promotes you countywide and beyond. The cool thing about the more restaurants we get in Antioch that participate, the more of a destination we become, and the more successful it is for everybody. So, like the mayor said, we're this year we're kicking around some ideas to come up with an incentive program. But basically, if there's something we could work individually with restaurant owners with to make this happen, I think we're open to suggestions right now, and really we would encourage you to participate. It's I don't know, it's been going on for a while, and every year it seems to be more successful, and we're excited to be part of it.
Thank you. So yeah, that's, I think I know it's in April, I don't know the exact date, but we can get that together for you guys. Another thing that we're working on through our marketing program is enjoyantioch.com website, which we want to be our village destination website, the hub for all things Antioch. We want to be able to promote businesses there, organizations there. If you have something coming up at your business, please reach out to Jim Moran. He's been brought in as a resource not only for the village communications, but community communications as well. I think if you have been paying attention, you'll see that our social media presence, our presence in print and radio and television have all increased since Jim's been on board. And I think he gave his a fair assessment of his resume and his reach of different people that he's made connections with over the years. So please use him and look for the website to be updated and upgraded here in the near future. I don't know, Jim, do we have a timetable on the website?
Our last call, we are hoping to launch it by the very beginning of March.
Okay.
So as we get closer, I'll have more information for everybody, but it's coming together really well. It looks really nice. I'm excited.
Couple more projects that are coming up. We're trying to do some unique projects to again bring residents and visitors downtown. One of the things we're working on is what are called ghost signs, which aren't what they sound like they are, but they're basically signs that were on the side of buildings, in the previous eras, and bringing back those signs, having events on weekends where artists will come in and recreate the signs on a couple buildings. I think we have 5 locations, or we're working on 5 locations right now, all over the village when you come into the downtown. So that'll be part of our downtown beautification project, but also bring some uniqueness and history back to the buildings. We can identify during this call, if you want to know which buildings we've kind of talked about. I don't know which building owners have approved it and which building owners have not at this point. So I don't want to put words in their mouth, but if we know those buildings, Michael or Jim, can we give an update on where those would be?
Well, we have 5 buildings we've identified. We've been working for the past number of months with several building owners. So I know we have been working with Mr. Saraz potentially for his building. I know
which one is that?
That's where the resale shop where Kirby Diva used to be. That's one building. I know the resale shop is another building that we've talked about. We're excited about Mr. Eckert's building, which is where the Art Foundation is. It's an old Gamble's department store. There used to be the old Gamble's ghost sign. We're going to bring that back to life. So I know that's a third one that we're working with. I think jumping on the other side of the street. Do you remember, Jim, what other buildings we're talking about?
I think on the old limo building coming into town, right? On the across from Pittman, was that one of them?
I think that actually we're working with her on an art project. And that is one building. Also, another one that comes to mind is Something Sweets. Mr. Downey has been very excited. This is another thing that we've worked with him for over years about bringing some type of art. And so he's a big enthusiast about doing a ghost sign on the Something Sweet. So that's 4 buildings that I'm tracking, and I'm blanking out on the 5th building. I'm sorry. Jim, you remember the 5th building? I think the 5th building might be.
I have the list in front of me.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But generally, there'll be several locations downtown, and we hope to make this an event that people come down to watch the artists work, and something that will be part of the downtown beautification. One of the things that I will say before I came into office was there have been lots of work done prior to me coming here between Michael and the Economic Development Task Force and staff here at Village Hall and trustees regarding Michael, the comprehensive plan for the downtown district and other studies, the Lakota group for some downtown beautification. So now all those things are coming together. And again, I'm not about studies. Now we're to the point, like, let's implement this. And that's where we're at in this project. If anybody wants to see, I encourage you to look at the comprehensive plan, especially if you have interest in the downtown district. It's very impressive. And we're trying to make some of these things that have been worked on, not just a piece of paper, but become reality over the next couple of years. We also have a project list, which I encourage you to, and I don't know if it's on the next committee of the whole meeting, but I'm sure we'll post on our website, the Lakota group's recommendation of projects which include different dollar amounts and timelines. So you can see how that would all come together, including, the Pittman property, eventually a Toff Street property, again, to increase the vibrancy of the downtown. Other events. So we have one other event that I know of, and that's new. We're talking about having ghost tours in downtown, a vendor that's going to bring people downtown that'll, pay to do ghost tours based on the Uncover Antioch success and the history and the ghost stories. We're working with a vendor to do that for hopefully the month of October leading up to Halloween. So we hope that brings many more people downtown to your businesses and restaurants. Let's see. I don't like long meetings. So if anything, the meeting will be shorter than longer. But we do want to, again, we have several new businesses that have come into town in the last month or two, including Jersey Mike's that just opened, the Tropical Tan. We had the Beauty Parlor Salon and Boutique, Annie's Embroidery and Gifts moved locations, Station 51, we hope is opening soon. I'm hoping no later than March, but I don't really have an exact date. And then Little Bean Bookstore, which is across the street from Village Hall in the old limo building, is going to be opening. And I believe the back end of that building is also going to be a wellness center. And I forget the name of that off the top of my head, so I apologize, but there'll be 2 new businesses there. So with that being said, I have talked enough, and I don't know if Michael or Jim want to add anything, but at that point, I'd like to open it up to any questions because I really am doing this to hear from you guys. So.
Michael, did you have anything?
Go ahead, Jim.
Great. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask, feedback or comments or anything like that, you have a little button on your screen that you could raise your hand. And what I'll do is we'll call on everybody, then I give you access to be able to talk. I see one person has their hand raised right now, and they're listed as Antioch staff. So we'll see if you have a question.
Well, you know what? It's Mary Dominic. I put that up earlier because I couldn't figure out how to mute myself. With this format, I can't mute and I can't see who else is on the call. So I didn't have a question at this point.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right, there we go. Now we see some hands. That's good. I was hoping to get some questions here.
Start off. Okay, we'll go to Jane. I believe
Hi.
you should have access.
Hi, Jane from Hannah's. I'm just wondering what kind of fee we're talking about for a yearly fee. I have a store in Lake Geneva, and I've never heard of anybody having a fee. So isn't that what you were talking about before, that we would sign up and pay a yearly fee in order to have a business in downtown?
Yeah, I think what we're talking about, Jane, is really a nominal fee probably. I think there's a preliminary number might be $25 or less.
Okay.
Again, the benefit really is our biggest challenge, and I think Jim Moran and I have been also kind of struggling with this just from a marketing perspective, is we don't, believe it or not, we don't have a comprehensive list of every business in our village. And we're doing more and more marketing. We're doing more and more outreach of our existing businesses as part of our economic development initiatives. So I think it's really critical to know all the businesses that are actually located in Antioch, not only from a public safety perspective, which are some aspects of that, but just from a marketing. We view it as a partnership, and we want to work with our businesses. So I think the first key is to find out all the businesses that are located in Antioch. I have a pretty good informal list that I've provided Jim, which provides some of a resource, but it's not completely comprehensive. So this is really a starting point to really assist the businesses and have a real registration process with the comprehensive list.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with the $25 fee. My problem is that's how the wine walk started, and you guys paid the fee for us to distribute the wine, and what else? And now it is, and there used to be food at different places, and there used to be you've just provided somebody to pour the wine, and now all those things except for the food are up to us. And yet your fees have gone way up and the amount of people have gone way up. So I'm anticipating that we could start with $25 and where do we go from there?
Well, again, we want to be business friendly. So we want the feedback of the business community. That's why we started this meeting and to really hear from the businesses
Okay.
throughout the village. And that's actually an excellent point. So we want to confer with the businesses and get your perspective of what a reasonable fee is.
Yeah, and Jade, this is the first I've heard about the changes in the wine walk. All I hear on, is how many tickets we sold and how good, good it's going. But obviously, if there's concerns on the cost, the amount of effort it takes to participate, this is the first I've heard of it. So, when we talk to,
Well,
we have
it's
our
not,
staff meetings with parks, any suggestions to make these events better for you guys, that's what this is all about.
okay, well, I've just been doing it a long time. And I mean, when we started, like I said, all those things were taken care of and there weren't as many tickets sold and the tickets weren't as expensive. Now, so I just like to see, I wouldn't mind seeing why, the reason why it is so, all those things have been taken away. So, and it does bring people in town. I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but I think that there's a question about all of that too.
Sure. And thank you
Okay.
for bringing that to our attention.
Okay. I'm done.
That's it? Okay. All right. I think Deborah Winkler had her hand up as well. Jim.
We will move on to okay, Deborah, I believe there you go. You're unmuted.
Yes, hi. This is Debbie, owner of Rustic and Reclaim Market and Vintage Mercantile.
Mhm.
And I'm very excited about the alleys that we have here in town. And I know there's been a lot of talk about the alleys being redeveloped. And I just wanted to know if there's any update on updating those and actually using them maybe for some pop-up vendors, or is there, if there's any plans on that.
Well, I know we've been working with Lakota. Lakota did generally a kind of a template for several of these alleys. As you know, we have the garden club, small mini garden there. We think that's also a great opportunity. As you know, I've talked to your landlord, and I've also talked to the bike shop about maybe activating the alley there, which is actually privately owned. So the village, I think the board has is very excited about using some of these alleys for activating them as public spaces. I love the idea of pop-up businesses. They could be used for pop-up businesses, but I think there's a clear commitment to activate these alleys. Some of the improvements may have to be done by phasing. As you well know, village board's committed to a major investment in regards to the property on Orchard and Main Street. That will be a major capital investment. So there may be some incremental improvements, but the exciting thing is if you have a chance to look at the Lakota plan, they did a beautiful kind of concept template for the mini park and some of the alleys to give you a sense of how we can activate them. The downtown beautification plan spends a lot of time talking about how we can activate these downtown alleys. So I think philosophically we're on board. It's just how we finance that is our next challenge.
And I think obviously from this list, anybody that is on this call, I encourage you to email Jim or myself or Michael so we can share that information with you so you can kind of see what the plan looks like on paper. I don't see anybody's hand up, so I'm going to bring up two topics that are interesting to me that are I'd like to hear back from the business community about. This is one, the concept that we do not have enough parking in the downtown district, and although we have a large municipal lot by the band shell and a large municipal lot off of Toff Street, I know that people complain about the parking situation. So again, any suggestions or feedback from the business owners? I think activating those spaces with the walkways and giving people direction on how to get to those spaces. I've kicked around, should the businesses, or the other restaurants work on some kind of joint valet service together? I just always think about what the solution is to the parking problem. I came down to dinner myself, which is a great thing, on Saturday night, and drove around for about 10 minutes because I was too lazy to park in one of those lots a couple blocks away and walk myself. So that's one of the things I'd like to get feedback from the business owners on over time. as well as, new business recruitment. What can we do to recruit the right type of mixture of other retailers into the downtown district when a spot comes open? So those are things that I'm always interested about, thinking about what the best promotion is, or how you think we should reach out to the small businesses, not to poach them from other communities, but to see if people who have successful businesses in other small downtowns may want to open up a location here, or take a chance on a business and get a variety of places in the downtown district. So I don't know if anybody has any feedback on that. If not, think about it and email me or call me if you have any ideas in that regard. So, oh, and Jane, did you have your hand up?
Wait a minute, are you hearing me? I'm sorry.
Now we can hear you. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought we talked about doing something like doing greenery, doing something to enhance that parking lot that is behind, straight back behind. I look out my window and see the bar, and then behind the bar, that huge parking lot that's there. It's not very attractive. And when we had our meetings before, we talked about trying to do something there to make it more attractive so that people would be more inspired to park there. I still think that that's a good idea.
Okay. Yes, I agree. And I know that's not one of our plans. I haven't seen the price tag on that, but I've walked through that lot. That lot needs some TLC for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I agree with you that. Any other, everyone else is being shy. Anybody else want to say anything or raise their hand? Otherwise, I'll wrap it up and let people get back on with their day, or Jim or Mike had any closing remarks, or Trustee Dominic regarding their work that they've put in a lot of time with the Economic Development Task Force and some of these things we're talking about. Oh, we have two hands. Good.
This is Mary Dominic. I just want to echo some of the mayor's comments and just to share with you that I'm excited about the focus that we have now on the businesses, and that things are moving forward more quickly, which is good for me because I'm impatient. But I really would encourage you to reach out to staff, either Michael or Jim, Scott, myself. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you need. We want your ideas. So thank you for taking the time today, and I look forward to more of these in the future.
Yeah, and I think our plan, and I'll talk to Jim, is to do these in the beginning, quarterly, and see what the participation is. If they come up to twice a year, but again, I ran my campaign on that I have these meetings, and I'm going to have these meetings. So I'm only apologize that it took so long to have this first one, but I saw one other hand up there. Jim, you're on mute. Jim, you're on mute. Oh, Jim Moran's on mute. I can unmute you.
Here we go.
All right.
Go ahead. Next caller.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, who's this? Sorry.
Mark Lubkeman.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, was there any, I came on the call late, I had something that I was doing, but has there been any discussion about potentially moving the band shell to a more desirable part of town? Just getting rid of it and moving it maybe back over there by Limerick?
There has not been to date. In the new park, there will be a small pavilion, which could have some smaller, performing arts things, whether it's movies in the park or smaller bands or musicians or play groups. But we have over time talked about activating the whole area between the band shell where it currently is, the Pittman property, as well as Toff Street. I just think that Toff Street's a very unique street where that's underutilized for, if we eventually have like these concert series or other things where there's an entertainment venue over there as well as part of our comprehensive plan. But there has been no specific, I get pushback. I get both sides of that on the band shell. Some people are like, no, we worked hard on that band shell. It needs to stay where it is. Maybe with Village Hall moving over there and tying, there is some redevelopment of maybe moving Skidmore potentially behind the band shell. So it's more of a pavilion green space. But I agree, getting things over on the Pittman property and on Toff Street where they're more visible are a goal of ours.
Yeah, it just seems that it's not strategically in a good spot to
Yeah.
draw people into the town. And it's not very aesthetically desirable out there either. So for whatever that's worth, somebody I think needs to look at.
Yeah, and we've
whole
talked about,
right.
one of the things we've talked about is, and we're doing our budget now. So we have to obviously look at what our business incentive programs are. We have to look at the facade programs, which has been very successful. But, not only the facades on Main Street, but I think one of the things we have to look at is the back of those buildings as well, because some of those buildings could use a touch up to make that a more desirable looking space back behind by the band shell.
It's still going to be an alley. That's the problem.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I see one hand. Maureen.
Yeah.
Hi, Maureen.
Hi. Hi, Mayor. I just want to thank you for mentioning Lake County Restaurant Week. That's great. I just wanted to give everyone the dates. It is April 1st through 10th. It will be our 7th annual Restaurant Week. Some years we've had as many as over 70 restaurants participate. We know restaurants are struggling, but we think it's an opportunity. The weather will be warming up, and we want to encourage residents and visitors to get out, patronize local restaurants, try some new restaurants, discover some new places to dine. So it's a great opportunity, and we'd love to have restaurants in Antioch participate. And it gets people downtown. It helps with the vibrancy that you talked about for downtown. So again, it's April 1st through 10th, and we can certainly get that information out to your restaurants and work with Jim Moran on that. So,
Yeah, and Maureen, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second. So whether the business owners know or do not know, Antioch is a participant in the Lake County Visitors Bureau, visit lakecounty.org, which, Maureen, are you the director?
yes.
Okay, so Maureen's the director, but maybe you just give yourself a little plug on how you can help businesses as well, other than, in addition to restaurants, with your organization.
Sure, we're a destination tourism marketing organization, and Antioch is one of our community partners. So we're always looking for opportunities to promote any events, festivals, everything going on in Antioch that would be of interest to residents, to get them out moving around the village, and encourage people to get out and spend money and time all through Lake County. So we market to leisure travelers, we market to residents, we market to sports groups and family reunions, and anything we can do to bring people into our communities to help with the economic impact and promote visitor spending. So we've done a lot with Antioch through the years, and we love to promote your downtown area. I think it's really unique and has a lot to offer. And I know we've brought some tour groups to Antioch as well. So one of our staff persons works on bringing groups, and during the holidays, she had some tour groups that came into town. We like to have the groups go to your shops downtown, eat at your restaurants, and really explore what Antioch has to offer. And then they move throughout the county and see all the wonderful things we have in Lake County. So we're a marketing organization. Our website is visitlakecounty.org. We do a lot on the social media side. We have a lot of platforms like Facebook that we provide information. Our calendar events is really robust. So we're always looking for more events to promote on that. That's kind of the starting point. And we know that visitors are looking for unique things to do throughout the county. So they're going to our calendar events on a regular basis too. So I would encourage your listeners to check out visitlakecounty.org for more information on how we can help support the businesses in Antioch.
And I believe one of our local residents, Mary Priller, still works with or for Visit Lake County as well. So if you know Mary, you can reach out to her locally too.
Yeah.
Thank you for jumping on. And again, everybody here, I want to encourage you, use the village for its resources, use the Antioch Chamber of Commerce for its resources, use Visit Lake County. All of us working together can help cross promote these events and get more people down here. So yeah, anybody else with any questions or concerns? Heather. And I'm going to plug Heather again. I want to thank her for all of the countless hours and time and probably money that she spent on her, her own efforts with Shop Antioch and bringing that organization to life and highlighting the downtown shopping district. So not to put you on the
Thank you.
spot, Heather, but go ahead.
Thank you. Since we were talking about events, I just wanted, if you haven't seen already, the Vintage Shop Hop is happening March 4th and 5th. We have 7 participating shops in Antioch. This event itself is about 400 plus boutiques, vintage, home decor, from Northern Illinois to Southern Wisconsin. It's a pretty big event and really brings in a lot of customers, not only for the shops that are participating, but for the town itself. I'm trying to encourage non-participating shops to kind of collab with a participating shop, just so they can get their name out there too. But just so everyone knows, it's March 4th and 5th, and it's a good one.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, going once, going twice. Anybody else? All right, again, I really want to thank you all for joining this. I want to thank Michael and Jim for helping set this up, and Mary for all her work with the downtown business district. So again, we're here. Phone number is 395-1000 if you want to call, or you can email us. It's our first initial last name at antioch.il.gov. And we will do this again probably in another quarter, maybe before we get into the summer season with events. So again, thank you for your time, and I will see you soon. Anything to wrap up, Jim?
I just real quick wanted to thank everybody for participating. Yesterday in Michael's office, I told him that 5 people show up, I'll be happy. And we blew that number out of the water. A key to a successful business community is active business owners. So thank you all for participating today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.